Hey there, Natalie, and welcome to your personal 2019 best year ever year ahead forecast. I'm super excited and honored to be reading for you again. And we have so much to cover, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into things because we've worked together in the past. I feel like you kind of get my whole approach, but I always just like to remind people that when I'm looking at the cards, I am looking for energetic trends, and it's not a guarantee that things are going to turn out exactly the way that we see, because I personally don't believe that the future is set in stone. So when you see something in, for example, a year ahead spread, it really is looking at guidance and insight to the most likely path and the most probable energies that we're seeing, but you might need to continue taking certain actions in order to ensure the positive outcomes that we see. And if you don't like something that you can see in the spread, then it's also possible to kind of maybe change course. The universe presents us with opportunities like these in a tarot reading, for example, and through many other channels to alter the path of nature and alter the path that our life is taking before events take place. That's what I personally believe. So if you see something you don't like, it's not any reason to stress, because we'll look at ways that you can maybe take a different route or surmount any challenges and obstacles that we could see. Okay, Natalie, I want to share with you what came through in the meditation, because there was a lot of things that were coming in. So the very, very first thing that I saw as I sort of dipped into your energy, they're showing me the number 17. So I don't know if this is a date, perhaps, like maybe the 17th of a month, or maybe the 17th of every month is a good day of the month to kind of pause and reflect, and maybe some synchronicities could be coming in around the number 17. So I definitely was seeing that. The 17 number is also the number of the star card, which is a card that has to do with hope and faith, but it also has to do with visibility and being seen and experiencing kind of moments where you're really able to shine and where you're really able to express your full self. So that could be, the star card could be a factor in this reading, we'll see. And it could also just be like a theme energy for you for the year. They also gave me April and September as potential months of significance. We're going to go into that with the month-by-month portion and really look deeply at what we see there, so I won't spend too much time on that, but they were drawing my attention to those 2 months. And they also, so about your career, what I heard actually for you was really interesting. They said, think of growing your career as nurturing a child or nurturing your childhood self. So they were giving me like the strong, like maternal symbolism, like they were showing me a woman kind of like holding and rocking a baby, and they were giving me, and I'm getting chills even just as I'm saying that, but there's something about creating success in your art career this year that has to do with you. I don't know if you already see it like this, like if this is something that's not new to you, but I feel like if it is new to you, like there's an opportunity right now for you to shift your perspective a little bit and see the process of what you're doing with your art and with everything related to your career path as an artist as nurturing something that is almost like a child, or like mothering. And I don't know if you like imbue your work with something nurturing, but you know, as well, I was thinking about this after I came out of the meditation. I always reread the questions, and you have your moon in Cancer, and then being a moon hermit person, the moon is a very depth-oriented and psychic-oriented planetary body, but it also has a lot to do with the maternal lineage, and it has to do with kind of like what I'm almost hearing is the motherhood of like you mothering yourself, or how you nurture yourself. There's a lot of that kind of energy with a Cancer moon. So that's kind of what I was seeing. The moon is dignified in Cancer, so that's like its ruling sign. So it's a really positive placement, I feel, and being that you are an artist, I feel like bringing that sensitivity and bringing that kind of nurturing, empathetic, powerful emotion, like instinctual. There's something instinctual as well that I pick up from your energy where like you will really succeed when you feel as a mother feels when she's instinctually relating to her child. You know, there's like, so I don't know if you have children, but I feel like there's something that mothers have that are just, they're so instinctually connected to their children, and there's something in there for you with that. Like there's something very deep and unconscious and instinctual that if you get in touch with that on a regular basis and perhaps, you know, working more with the moon or learning more about your Cancer moon placement, these types of things will help you to tap into that deep instinctual nurturing nature that you have. And I feel like it's going to provide you with the best insights as far as like where to go with your career in order to create the most success, but also the most personal fulfillment with it. So that was kind of a big message, but that was coming in. They also, like another guide kind of stepped forward. I don't know if this is like a guide that you have connected with before, but it was almost like a male guide, shorter in stature. It really felt to me, and I'm getting chills saying this, that it was almost like a forest spirit. Like a little male, like short, I don't know, almost like a pygmy, kind of like male forest spirit, kind of sprightly. And I just heard the words action, and then I heard like in very quick succession, visualize, plan, execute, repeat. So visualize, plan, execute, repeat. So there's something coming through about like how you can get things done. Maybe once you're done using your instinctive, intuitive nature to kind of visualize what you want in your career, then it's time to kind of, according to this guide that was coming forward, it's time to just like plan the steps, then execute the steps, and then just repeat, like do it all over again with the next visualization that you have. So I feel like this is almost like a recipe for you that will help you kind of marry the two sides of yourself, the really instinctual, intuitive, mothering side, and then, you know, the action-oriented doer, the one who gets things done side of you as well. So it's kind of like a way to bring them together in a harmonious recipe, hopefully. So I hope that's helpful. I also saw something coming through about like they were showing me someone getting married, but they were like telling me it's not literally a marriage. It's not a marriage, they were saying. But they were showing me you kind of walking like as a bride, you know, walking down the aisle with flowers and a veil. But they were showing me that. But then I also heard like over the top of that vision, they were saying people watching a commitment taking place. So I don't know if like with your career, if you have some kind of rite of passage that you are considering. I don't even know what that would look like for you because I don't know what kind of artist you are or what kind of career like path you're specifically on. But think about this year, what kinds of rites of passage could be considered like intrinsically part of what you're trying to do. And think about like, are you planning on doing something like that? Like, I don't know, just an example that's coming to me is like maybe if you've never done a live gallery thing before, then, you know, that could be like your rite of passage into the next phase of your career. And again, I'm not saying that's what it is, but it's something like that where everybody knows that this is your first show, or it's like your, you know, your this big event that you now from this day forward, this is going to be the new thing that you do. And it kind of causes everyone who attends to realize that and see you as someone who's embarking on a new journey. So if you're planning anything like that for this year, or if there's something similar, somewhat similar along the lines of where other people are going to be present watching you kind of take on some kind of new commitment, that is being indicated. I also heard the word rehash, and I saw a collage, like collage paper and glue and stuff like that. So I don't know, you might be bringing back some kind of idea from the past that was maybe like, I don't know if you make vision boards, but maybe it was something on your vision board from a couple years ago, but you just never got around to it. that could be coming back this year. Something could be coming back that you like had planned for the past. They also showed me, and this was really interesting. I have no idea if this is going to make any sense to you. Two last things. They showed me a house, and then the roof came off of the house, like it lifted up. So that could be a symbol, I feel, for like something going on with your 7th chakra this year, where you're opening that chakra up and experiencing more, because the roof would be kind of like the thing that holds that back, I guess. So there could be something going on with your 7th chakra, opening that center of the body to feel more connected to source. It could also be a symbol for something else that I'm just not picking up accurately, so just keep that in mind. But it didn't feel like a literal, you know, destruction of a house or anything. It was definitely feeling very symbolic. And the last thing that my guide Amber showed me was I asked her for a message for you, and she kind of turned like this, and then she kind of went and like threw her arm up, and what was coming out of her arm and like in this big long train following and flowing upwards was this like a big group of butterflies, interestingly. And then as I was kind of like watching them, it was like they were all flying to the moon. So throwing, and I heard the words throwing or tossing. I don't know, it's kind of like, I can't really say which one it was because it just happened so fast, but it was like tossing butterflies to the moon. So again, I don't know if that's going to be helpful to you at all. I hope that it gives you something meaningful. Maybe it's something to kind of meditate on and see what comes up for you with that. But I always have to say everything I see, even when it doesn't make sense to me. So let's take a look at your cards. I decided to use the Green Witch Tarot for you today. We're just going to get some messages on your business, your career, and just going to do a Celtic cross. But we're not going to go too in depth because I want to spend a lot of time on the month by month for you. Because I feel like that's going to be really helpful for some reason. Okay. Something else I was just feeling is like don't feel like you need to like control outcomes too much, because I feel like things are growing for you in a really positive way. And yeah, there's just something about like being embracing of like the pacing of this path for you. So yeah, we have the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Athens in this deck. Queen of Swords crossed by the Knight of Swords. Harvest at the root, that's beautiful. The moon, and we've been talking so much about the moon in this reading already for you. This is like, beautiful. We've got the Standing Stone in your advice from Spirit. 5 of Chalices. The Battle Wagon in reverse in your best advice. 10 of Pentacles in how to relate to others and what others are going to be bringing you, like the outer life basically this year. Looks really good. We have the Green Man in your guidance for the year, and we have the Lady and the Lord in reverse in the kind of position of advice for the future energies. Interesting that we have like a marriage ceremony on that card, which is definitely significant considering that they were showing me a marriage ceremony in the meditation, but also with the guidance that it was a figurative marriage, not necessarily a literal one. So I get that you are very motivated. I feel like your mind is very active as you go into 2019. There's a sense of being very much like on path, and you're just inspired to continue acquiring knowledge and skills with what you're doing, but there's also a feeling of like extreme focus, like this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. With the king, or the knight, I'm sorry, the Knight of Swords here is like you are just ready to go. You are just, you're on path, which is a good thing. But with the Queen of Swords in reverse, like she's harvesting these flowers right here. And there's the bird outside the window. She's trimming the stems. And she looks really beautiful, like she looks very beautiful, like even just physically, and she's in her element. She's got everything she needs. She has all her tools. What I feel for you, Natalie, is like with this card, this is a really important key card for you in this reading, is to me it's saying, look at you. Like I feel like even just intuitively what I'm getting from this card, it's also saying like you just have this youthful energy to you. I know you mentioned, a little bit about your astrology and how you're learning more about yourself, now I think you said you're 47. And I feel like what this card is saying is like, this is your prime. Like, I feel somehow that you don't feel your age. I feel like you feel very young, and people look at you and like feel that you're young or something. Like, I feel a lot of vitality. I feel like there's just a lot of youthfulness and vigor, I guess, is like what I'm saying, is just I feel like you're beautiful. I feel like when people look at you, they're just like, oh, she's so beautiful and she's doing so well. I think that there's something here that maybe you're not completely recognizing about yourself. Like, I'm not saying that you don't have any self-esteem or anything like that, because far from it. I think you have a lot of self-trust and self-esteem, but I feel like what this card is saying, because I almost feel like the bird represents a message from spirit trying to get through to you, and you've got all these tools, you've got everything you need, you've got this clean workspace, and spirit is trying to say like, enjoy this or something. Like, spirit's trying to remind you to appreciate what you already have. So that's kind of what I'm getting, but you're very focused on the future, and that's a good thing, but I feel like spirit is kind of right off the bat telling you to be present with what you have now. And it's interesting also because you have the Hangman as your year card. So 6 + 3 + 2019 is 2028. 2 + 2 + 8 is 12. So this is a year of like changing perspectives. When we have a Hangman year, it is about looking within, looking at what illuminates us from the inside, rather than like outer achievements necessarily. That doesn't mean that you can't have outer achievements. The Hangman year can be a very successful year still for a lot of people, but it's about recognizing the inner light that kind of fuels that outward success or that outward transformation. So it's really about finding your internal emotional sense of trust and stability and comfort and satisfaction within yourself, as opposed to like outer things. And I do feel that this is going to be a harvest year for you, because unconsciously you have the harvest card. So this is saying that what you've been building towards is going to bring in abundance for you, because you are kind of at that turning point in your career and also on a personal level. I feel like this card is saying that you have done a lot of work to get to where you are now. And now it's like you are psychologically, you're in a place of readiness to enjoy like the fruits of your labor in the past and also kind of at present. With the moon as what you're bringing with you from the past, I do feel like this is saying that you've had a very spiritual year. In 2018, I feel like, with this card being also one of your birth cards, this is you like walking to that path, walking to that, that lake, and learning how to fill yourself up spiritually and learning how to know yourself spiritually and learning to love yourself. I feel like that's been a big theme for you, is self-love and self-recognition, self-understanding. So you have that now, you know, you're bringing that with you. The standing stone is your advice from spirit, and the seven, the chariot card in reverse, is your kind of like your best advice for your inner life. So what we see here is an emphasis on balance. What I feel is that there's going to be a renewed sense of balance between your work and your personal life. With the chariot in reverse, it can indicate a need to, I would say, like, look within and not base any of your self-worth on outer achievements. If you look closely, the standing stone card, which is a justice card, it has the words harm none etched into the stone. There's a neutrality that comes with that card. It's like, proceed as you will, but bring harm to none, and that includes yourself. So try and minimize your own like unnecessary suffering in your own mind. Like, try and minimize if you feel like you're pushing yourself too hard, or if you're making too much of a fuss about something that you want to achieve on the outer level. Recognize where you might be causing unnecessary struggle for yourself and bring that attitude of harm none into like your own relationship with yourself as well. The Five of Chalices is, to me, it kind of represents, like, for you in this reading, it feels a little bit to me like not necessarily a sacrifice, but I feel like there's something coming up that you might decide not to do so that you can direct more of your energy on something that matters more. So there's like a prioritization taking place within the next 3 months, I feel, and we'll see more about that in your month-by-month cards. The Ten of Pentacles comes up in, you know, the outer environment. So I feel that your business is going to continue to grow. I feel that you're going to continue to have stability. Money looks good in your life. Family looks good. I feel like you're being given by spirit this sort of stable environment essentially in your life so that you can really put your time and effort into creating and into manifesting this career for yourself. So enjoy that stability, be grateful, and again, like, be present with what you have because it just looks like you are very blessed. Your guidance is the Green Man, which is the Fool card. So this is saying, like, really just be creative is what I get with this card. Like, continue to embrace your creativity, continue to follow those ideas that you have. This is like also a big card that has to do with liberation. It's ruled by Uranus, so it's got that kind of wild energy to it. So this is kind of like, I don't know if you're a painter or what kind of artist you are, but it's like painting like you've lost your mind, you know, like just really when you get in the zone, really get in that zone because you're going to be so productive. And I just see a lot of like the greenery symbolizes life to me. So I feel that your creative self-expression is very alive this year. The Lord and Lady in reverse in like the future energy to me is referring back to that sacred kind of marriage. It's almost like with the reversal, because the reversals tend to point inward, it's almost like marrying yourself or rededicating yourself to an aspect of your journey. The Man on this card could also represent your own animus figure, since this did come up in reverse, which can indicate like inward psychological processes. So you could be working with your animus figure. I don't know if you are familiar with like Jungian dream interpretation and things like that, but I do feel that there could be something going on with that. And we'll get more insight into some of that energy with your month by month. June. And I'm going to be getting, let's make sure these are, see, I don't read this deck in reverse, but it looks like some of them are reversed right now. So I'll just go ahead and shuffle them anyway, and I'll turn them upright. Energy Oracle, clear, loving, accurate guidance for NATALIE for 2019. Clear, loving, accurate guidance for NATALIE 2019. Guidance for NATALIE. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to take a sip of water. Now let's see what we've got. So January we have here and now in reverse with man holding a coin. I'm just straightening these piles out. So there could be a male connection in money or like business matters that is somehow affecting you in a positive way. This could also be a card that is referring again to the growth that you've already experienced. I don't know if your mentor is like male or female, but with the man holding a coin, this can also be just related to like material abundance and material success and career growth overall. And just again, because you also had that 10 of Pentacles in the environment card, I feel like this card is coming up as a symbol for you for the year of 2019 to let you know that you do have a good degree of growth already going on in your career, and that you also are, I feel, you know, having some good stable financial energy around you. So it just looks really good. The only thing that we're seeing again is the here and now card in reverse, which is like kind of similar to what I was seeing with the Queen of Swords in reverse in the center of your tarot spread, which was talking about like really being present with all of the blessings that you have in your life. There's something about you maybe being like unconsciously like deleting some of the positive data from your life. So you're just thinking more and more about like what you want and how you want to move forward and how you want this or that. But these cards are like asking you to kind of take a breather, take a step back, really assess the situation and recognize that you're already there. You know, like you are right now, you're where you wanted to be 10 years ago. Like you are there. This is such an important message, and it's so important for people who like want to start a business or start a successful career. I'm guilty of this myself, you know, this idea that you're going to be happy when you get to a certain point. I remember before my business became successful, I just thought if I could be, you know, if I could just pay my bills with doing something that I love, then I'll just be happy. I'll just be happy then, or I'll just, you know, it'll be this amazing feeling. And it is a great feeling, but then there's always more. There's always more that you want to grow. So just watch that tendency to place too much emphasis on the future, because life is happening now and it's gorgeous. So that's what I'm getting. Oh wow, so you have woman holding a coin. So seeing these coin cards coming up in the beginning of the year for you is very, very positive. Natalie. This is, to me, telling me that, again, you are going to be taken care of, financially. I feel like career is a huge focus as well. Really good things happening. So woman holding a coin could be a woman helping you out in business in some way, or it could be you. Unfinished business or unfinished symphony is saying that you're working on something in February that isn't quite finished yet, so give it the time that it needs. Don't rush it, because if you put it out too early, you might regret it. So really put in the time to accomplish something to the degree that you want it to be. You might feel a little bit of a perfectionist with the woman holding a coin being associated with Virgo. It can be, a little bit of perfectionism coming in there, but a little bit of perfectionism is actually going to serve you well in February, I think. But overall, powerful abundance coming in for you this year, so it looks good. Again, really beautiful. We have financial constraints in reverse with soulmates. So what I want to say about this is that, especially with financial constraints in reverse, it's a reduction in kind of financial constraints. So it's an improvement from something that you were worrying about with your finances. It could be like in March because it's tax time. I don't know if it's tax time where you live, but generally it's a season in which you're like planning your taxes or preparing for tax things. So you might get more money back, or you might have some kind of positive thing where you realize you're going to save more money, or you might get a bonus, or you might get some kind of something unexpected coming through that helps financially. But be conservative and thoughtful. Continue to be wise with your financial choices is really what I see. The soulmates card is talking about, again, positive soulmate energy. There's a sense of being connected and aligned with the right people. So that's definitely something that I'm seeing as well, is just good support coming to you, especially like in the first quarter of the year. We see people kind of helping you out, and positive relationships that are going to be forged through your career. So that's really nice. We have a leg up with cornucopia in reverse in April. So a leg up is, again, they're really bringing this home. A leg up is about getting support and help. So I see networking and working well with maybe not like a lot of people, but specific people that can be of service to you is going to be a theme this year, because you might not be able to manage everything on your own. So bringing in more people, working closely with your mentor and maybe anyone else who can help you is going to be really great. With cornucopia in reverse, I don't see this as being like negative as far as finances go in April, but it's more like you're gonna have like this opportunity on the table, but you won't be able to access it unless you get support with it, or unless you like ask for some kind of benefit. Could even be from spirit, but I also feel this on a very practical level. It's like there's something on the table, but you need support in order to really grab it. With May, this is May, we have time for a nap and sixth chakra, and they're both coming up in reverse. So May, it looks like there's going to be emphasis on your dream life. That's really what I'm getting. So powerful dreams coming in May. I don't know if you're somebody who dreams a lot. It seems like you probably would, being that you're a moon hermit person, and being that you also that you have that Cancer moon and just so much, watery energy, Pisces sun. You probably have really powerful dreams. May is going to be a time when your dreams are going to be telling you something important. I don't know if you're like me, but for me, when I am having I'll have periods of a lot more active dreams, and then I'll have periods where my dreams are like not really as active or not really as important, I feel. And this is going to be a time when your dreams are going to be more active and more important. So definitely write them down in May. See if you can set some intentions, like if there's anything you want guidance on in May. Maybe you don't need to ask for guidance outside of you. Like you don't necessarily need to hire a reader or hire a life coach or anything like that. Maybe in May, like you're going to be getting the guidance from your subconscious mind through your dreams. So that's going to be really invaluable. So definitely a time to mark your calendar. June, we have happy, happy, and all tied up, which is so interesting because they are like very different energies, but somehow these cards seem to almost fit together. I feel that in June, it could be that like the first part of June, you're feeling a bit tied up with something, and then you get some kind of liberation from that, and then you feel much happier. I also feel like these could be aspects of the same thing. Like perhaps, you know, you have some success or you have something beautiful that you're feeling grateful for in June, but there's also maybe some limiting aspects to it, or there's some constraining aspects to it where you feel like, you know, wow, this is definitely limiting what I can do with my life. For example, you know, with anything where you're having a lot of success, maybe it's great, but then you want to take a vacation, but you don't really feel okay about taking a vacation because there's so much going on that you could be taking advantage of. So it's that kind of energy, but overall, I do feel that it's positive for you. Be mindful of your perspective is what I want to say in June, because there's, you know, a lot of reasons to be happy, and you can focus on whatever you want to focus on. And I feel like this is a lot of the messages that are coming through in your reading. I'm like, that actually makes sense for me too. Like, I feel like I don't want to get subjective here, but I just want to say, you know, being somebody else who has a lot of water as well, maybe there's some kind of kinship or understanding there, because that's something that that's really prominent. It's definitely a theme that I notice personally as well. So I just wanted to say that, but we'll get back into your cards. Okay, so July we have first chakra in reverse with co-create. So really beautiful energy. July is going to be a pretty creative month for you, I feel. With co-create, it's about working not only with others, but really with spirit and spirit guides. So you could feel that you're connecting more deeply with a spirit guide in July. Something else that comes through on this with the first chakra in reverse is grounding. So definitely work on grounding and shielding in July. And you can even ask for support from spirit with that. Like, something that you can do would be maybe to ask one of your guides or angels, or maybe your guardian angel, if you work with a being like that, you can ask them to create a shield around you. I do that all the time, and it makes everything so much easier when you're asking for support and not always trying to do everything yourself spiritually. You can just turn it over to one of your guides. So I feel that there's a certain degree of empowerment coming in through you connecting more intimately with your guardians and your spirit angels. So that's something that is coming in July. Overall, you could be co-creating a project with another person as well. And if that's the case, with the first chakra in reverse, it's also really important that everybody's on the same page communication-wise, and everybody knows kind of who's responsible for what, and that the project itself is very like grounded in practical terms. Like, you're going to do this, they're going to do that, and like there's clear steps laid out. August, we have man with a heart and poised. So I don't know if you're looking for love or if you're partnered. There could be a new love interest coming into your life in August, or it could be that an existing relationship that you have is deepening in intimacy, or there's romantic energy. So whoever this person is, it could be any type of person, but there's someone coming into your life who has positive intentions, and it feels like a synchronistic meeting. It feels like with the poised card, it's like everything was lined up so that you could have a beautiful experience with someone. This could also be someone who loves your work and who sees you as kind of like just a powerful creator, and maybe either wants to work with you or wants to kind of share some kind of experience with you. So that's what I'm seeing in August. Definitely looks positive. You have really positive energy around your romantic side of life and relationship side of life this year. So capitalize on that, Natalie. Use your relationships to their fullest extent by really nurturing them and being clear about what you want to experience in each of the different kinds of relationships in your life, because they're going to be helping you a lot. September, we have higher power in reverse and angel of balance. So interestingly, because September was one of the months that the guides gave as important, higher power in reverse is really asking you to turn something over to the divine and release attachment to a particular outcome, but really like surrender and ask God to kind of help you. God, the universe, your higher self, however you want to describe it. Angel of balance, and this is also 8 plus 4, which is 12, which is your hangman year. So again, we're seeing like even more significance being poured onto this card. September is a time to really just focus on your routine. It's like getting back into a flow for yourself where maybe you got a little bit out of a routine during the previous month or two. September is about coming back to routine, coming back to something that balances you, redisciplining yourself, but in a positive way. Like, okay, I haven't been meditating recently. I'm going to start meditating for 15 minutes a day or that kind of thing. So coming back to some really healing routines that balance you, and then that's all you have to do is just take care of yourself and then ask spirit to take care of the rest, because you can't force whatever's going on in September and afterward. You can't force it. All you can do is just take care of yourself and mind your own like well-being and your own emotional alignment. That's all you can do in September. October looks great. So yeah, something was kind of in the making, but there's like some uncertainty that you feel in September. But then in October, we see a victory coming through and we see Imagine with that. So what I feel is that in October, there's some kind of victory in your career. This October would be a really great time to like plan some kind of launch or plan some kind of important milestone, because the energies are going to be very supportive to you completing that goal or completing that process with success. The Imagine card in reverse is saying that it's really important to you as you are like experiencing that victory and as you're experiencing that success, it's important to stay connected to like what you want to do now, because I think that one of the things that can happen with really creative people, and I feel like you are a very creative person, is that you can get so focused on achieving one thing and then you get like to that point, which is where you're at in October. And then it's like, wait, you know, I just did that. Like, what am I going to do now? Or like, what's the next thing? And there can almost be this, I don't know about you, but there can almost be this like hangover feeling after you've done something really big that really challenged you and you just hit the home run or whatever. You come out of that and you almost feel like hungover, or you almost feel like, oh, like a crash. And then you're like, following that crash is like a little bit of confusion, because it's like, okay, well, where to next? I only focused on this one thing for so long. Now I've gotten it. Like, I don't know where I'm going to go from here. So it's really important in October to use your imagination, to reconnect to your imagination, to reconnect to that childlike side of yourself, to really dream up and envision what you want to do next, and make that fun, make that inspiring. Don't let it kind of be a crash, is kind of what I get. November is a month of healing and travel, I feel. I don't know if you have plans to travel in November, but you have mending and journey. So journey is about travel. It's about leaving your normal comfort zone, and mending is healing. So you could be traveling, doing some kind of healing travel, like attending a wellness retreat, or if it has to do with your family lineage, you could be traveling to like a family member's home or where they live and healing something about your past relationship with that family member. There's something about traveling for wellness and traveling for wholeness that I really like for you in November. It looks very peaceful and well aspected. December, we have indecision and by the book in reverse. So there's a decision that you're making December of this year, and by the book in reverse is telling you that you need to think outside of the box with this decision. If you want to ensure the best outcome, it's important to just think outside the box. Don't limit yourself too much of like what you can accomplish, because you can accomplish a lot if you just kind of get out of your head a little bit and don't try and make what you're doing fit up an existing paradigm. because it's not going to fit it. Okay, Natalie, I hope this reading has been helpful. I just wanted to get you one theme message for the year. Be open. So much this message has been coming through in the reading because it is your Hangman year. So there is that sense of surrender that we get, like surrender, and really the way to achieve that is to tap into the present. And you can tap into the present through gratitude for what you already have. So I feel like this is a further invitation. And we have unique gifts. So you're going to be doing something different that you haven't done before. And it has to do with your unique gifts. It has to do with you expressing some kind of talent or some kind of interest or potential that you have that maybe you haven't seen a lot of other people doing, or maybe it's going to manifest for you in a unique or an unconventional way. And the message is to really be open to that. Be open to doing something different. And yeah, I love this message for you. You do have unique gifts, and it's important. It's a beautiful time to embrace those. So I hope that this reading has been helpful, Natalie. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm sending you so much love, and I will talk to you later. Bye. Happy New Year.